NFL Draft. Dougie Fresh. And our IT guy that saved my computer from dying. Hey, folks. Unanswered Points once again. Episode 4. His freshness is back.
Hey, now.
I'm Wood. We're going to be rocking and rolling at the Freshwood Studios, as always. Stay tuned, though. Might have a new location coming soon. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Cool.
Puff, puff, pass.
Now, not speaking of, but what I just hit there, that wonderful soundbite that just got me through the show last week, my man. I'm going to extend a small apology, okay?
Why?
To the listening base.
Why?
To you,
Why? Oh, not to me.
No, it's actually to you as well.
Why are you apologizing?
I did audio rape of that board last week. Now, granted, I had a little bit of coping mechanism that had to do with the bottle after the Flyers lost. Mm-hmm. I took it to a higher power.
We all did.
Some of us more than others. And, yeah, I abused the fuck out of that soundboard. So I'm going to try not to do quite the same.
I called you out on it last week, too.
I know. And for those that might not know, stay tuned for future outtakes or whatever you want to fucking call it, because I had to omit about 35 to 40 minutes of some, not because of I thought it was it was rambling.
It was good listening too.
It was basically me.
I definitely want to get that to them one day because they're gonna have a little bit of chuckle.
Tell you what, you can earn it. If we get 100 listens or views on YouTube this week, I'll put it up on its own video on its own accord.
Don't hold your breath.
Well, I tried to, and then that came out. So obviously we are literally 23 hours before the NFL draft as this records, depending on when you listen. Hopefully everyone jumps on board and checks it out tomorrow, because otherwise this kind of whole thing will be moot. Like, hey, NFL draft preview 2 days after the NFL draft. Maybe that's when I'll send out the outtakes to kind of even it out. What do you think?
So what else you got?
I don't know. I'm tired.
Not tired of drinking, I see.
No, damn right. This time what I did was last week I was hitting my HLs, living a high life and taking down the Tully, I think it was, or maybe Crown, just right down the hatch, right? This week, I just said, fuck that. I'm just going to drink Jim Beam with a little ginger on the side, do a little mixerini, put that down the gullet.
I got my American honey, and I'm very satisfied.
Yeah, you just did that on the rocks, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Speaking of American honey, I think I owe you something.
You do? We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, eventually. Every fucking time I've seen you the last 10 times.
That is what it is.
We already got to it, just to let you know. Before we address the NFL talk, I'd like to give a special thank you to Nepo downstairs, who's literally in my downstairs right now, because we had a major mishap with our very, very technologically advanced computer system, as we, Mr. Fresh will talk on top of a mic that's standing on about 8 DVDs. Just to get to his face. We'll get a stand for you one day, buddy. But Nepo downstairs saves the day. Huh? You want to say something?
You're welcome.
Okay, all right. That's our first official in-house guest.
And that's why he's Silent Bro.
Yeah, we have our own Silent Bro. Fuck that dude. Those dudes are queefs.
Yes, they are.
We were 1 week later from the aftermath. One, I guess, yeah, that took place. Those Flyers shit the bed. I just kind of want to rehash and bury the whole season right now. Just take a couple minutes. We obviously had our feelings well portrayed last week, but question: who are you rooting for now? Are you rooting for anybody? Do you have any interests? I haven't really watched that much, to be honest with you. I took that bad, as you heard audibly last week, but from the last week, I haven't really watched that much. I watched some, but who would you be rooting for right now, or are you actually actively rooting for someone?
Actively rooting for someone. I'm actively rooting against certain teams.
Sure, as am I. Always.
But as far as actively rooting for someone, I don't want to say that I'm definitely doing that. However, the same thing happens kind of every time a Philadelphia team exits the playoffs.
So every year?
Every year, except 2008. Anyway, I like to see teams win that haven't won in a while.
Right.
I don't like to keep seeing the same teams win and win and win. So
you're not one of those subscribers that it's good for the game if people...
No, absolutely not.
Dynasties.
No. I think it's good for the game to see other teams experience success, to see parades in other cities, to have other fans know what it's like to experience a championship and not have to wait 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 years before they can celebrate that again.
Unless it's the LA Kings with those 2 idiots on their team.
Uh,
well, 1 idiot, really.
We
I still got
didn't
Mikey's
have to
back.
talk about that.
Sorry. Well, that's, it's right down your example there, Chieftain.
Oh, my God.
I.e., that idiot who complained and got a ring, Jeff Carter, biggest pussy of all time. But I still got
I
respect
agree.
for Mikey Richards. A little bit. But I'm just mixing my beam and
With a spoon.
piss. Yeah.
Wow.
Literally does look like piss.
So here's literally my answer. The
Okay.
Minnesota Wild.
I was just about to say,
Please win
let
the
me
Stanley
run
Cup.
down a bunch of teams, and I bet I can pick who you're rooting for. Now, I would have obviously been rooting for the Sharks, and fuck if I don't know how to root for teams, because root for the Flyers, and I pick these assholes. And they're making history in the same way that the Flyers suck. But
You know what, too? I really thought that the Rangers were going to be a lame duck, too, coming into the second round. And we didn't get a real good chance to talk about it last week because we were, like you said, we were venting.
yeah,
We were getting everything
I was
off.
venting fucking upside down.
But I really wanted to talk to you about their power play.
Mm-hmm.
How can you go
It
in
sucked.
to a second round? I mean, you barely made it past the Flyers,
Mhm.
who were within 1 goal of tying it and sending it to overtime. Sudden death takes you to the next series.
Right.
They're still, over 34 as of right now?
I believe so. As a matter of fact, it's funny. They just got a power play.
Did they
behind me now.
really?
It's tied up 1-1. They just got a power play. They're on it now. Let's see if they
That's
score on it. I don't fucking know if they
Amazing if I jinx them and they take the lead
in
in
a
this
way.
game.
So you now, who are you rooting against more, or is it just throw them both in the fucking fire? I mean, obviously that's
Rangers Penguins you're talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, I'd like both their planes to collide in midair on the way, but
I still want the Penguins to lose.
yeah, me too.
I'm
I'm
always-
rooting for the Rags
I'm
right
a Penguin
now.
hater.
Unfortunately. Penguins over Cowboys.
Yes,
Okay, that should have been my this or that. What the fuck? I just ruined it. Spent about 10 minutes trying to get it, and now
maybe.
still got a good one for later though.
Cowboys are
I agree with you though.
number 2 for sure.
Oh, absolutely. There's,
Yeah.
there's one A, 1B.
Yes.
A lot of ones there, so it was like 4A. 4A, isn't that a word that means something?
Back to sports.
All right. That was an ad for
Giggity.
that was an ad for how to speak English incorrectly. Today, this morning, this afternoon actually, my favorite player of all time in any sport never got a promotion. GM of the Flyers, Ron Hextall.
My favorite flyer of all time.
So that's both of us.
Yes.
Favorite athlete of all time, because he's mine, as I just mentioned. Is it
Athlete of all time.
all sports?
I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah. My favorite figure in sports of all time is Harry Callis, to be honest with you.
Okay.
My favorite athlete of all time would be Ron Hextall. So
Why is he your favorite athlete of all time?
because there's not one athlete ever that has incorporated the Philadelphia sports mentality better, ever.
Okay, now-
Any sport.
That is why he's my favorite flyer ever. And
Right.
I completely agree with everything you just said.
Yep, there's
But
a
when
lot
you
of it.
say athlete ever in any sport of all time,
Right.
I have to think about it.
Okay.
So we'll come back to that maybe. Maybe this. Nah, fuck you did.
See? Oh, by the way, you jinxed the fuck out of the Rangers.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
They
'cause-
scored?
No.
Oh.
Penguins shorty.
Go me.
Yeah, way to go, pal. But anyway, so yes, Hexy. Now his mentality coming from LA, he was the assistant GM there. They got a cup. A lot of people are speculating. Some people hate the fact that they're keeping it in house, as they always do with the Flyers. I personally don't have a problem with the family mentality. I'm just scared of like Homer still having influence, because they didn't say you're fired.
No.
They said, "Hey, you're the new president." Well, I mean, what the fuck's a president of the Flyers do? Nothing. He sits there and beats it, and
It's just, it's a way of rewarding him for, like you said, the family type of mentality. You know,
Right.
the time he's put in with the team. They don't want to actually fire him because they're on very good relations with each other. So yes, you're right. I don't believe he's going to have any influence whatsoever on Ron Hextall and his decision.
no, that's not what I said. I'm scared he will.
I don't think he will.
That's why I kind of wish they should cut ties, and then if you're serious about him being president, bring him back next year as president. Give him a year off. Take a fucking Lovey Smith break.
No, I don't. I really don't think that'll play any effect at all.
Oh, good for you!
Well,
I love the move.
do you think that he will change the team in any way this summer? I mean, drastically?
Did you listen to any of his press conferences?
I listened to, he called into, the two idiots and then Missinelli too. And he pretty much said the same thing, that there is no drastic move coming. He said, don't expect it. I don't know. The press conference might have been a different four-way. Oh, I used it after I talked.
What he pretty much said was that he's not going to be quick on the trigger to get rid of young talent like we have in the past.
Okay.
Okay. If you
I.e.
i.e., let's talk about our Flyers we wanted to see wearing orange and black again.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Remember the Justin Williams?
Folks,
Remember the
listen
Patrick
back.
Sharps?
Don't go back. We're supposed to tease them. We should say,
Well,
listen to this fucking
your number one
podcast number 2 if you want that.
I
right?
won't say a word. Just go back and listen, apparently.
That's just dumb.
All right.
So, and he also said that he also wasn't going to be fast to give long-term contracts to older veterans.
In other words, everything Homer believed in. I mean, he your boy, Danny B. I mean, he was great. That was a little bit of a fuck up, contract wise. I mean, you're paying him that for playoff performances. Really, is what you're doing. I mean, he besides the playoffs, he didn't really do that much.
Playoffs?
I mean,
Do
he
you
might have had one good regular season worth. What was he getting? $6 million a year, $7 million, something like that.
Something in that vicinity. But, I mean, would you still, if I could say, hey, you can have Danny Briere for $6 or $7 million, would you take it right now?
No way.
You wouldn't take it.
No.
Okay, I'm just a question.
But I know he's your boy. Would you?
Not for that much, no.
Yeah, okay. All right. I mean, I think LeCavier is making $5. I'd probably rather have Briere, but that comes down to positional. We don't need – that's another thing Holmgren did. He believed in the fact that let me just go ahead and get as many quote-unquote talented players, but he liked these leaders and this, that, and the other and people that scored 40 goals 10 years ago. And he doesn't look and see that they're all centermen, that they're all – he doesn't care. Oh, they'll be able to play on the wing. And we talked about this before too. That's a big mental – it goes from the brain down to the hands and the legs and the physical.
Center to wing, yes.
Something just doesn't click.
Yes.
Something gets lost in translation.
You all of a sudden you have pretty much full reign of pretty much everywhere you are on the ice as
Right.
far as a centerman. And now as a winger, you can't be caught in certain areas.
Nope.
You're gonna be caught on defense, or your centerman or your winger or your defenseman are going to be expecting you to be on the boards when you're pinching, or possibly getting a bank pass,
Right.
Off the red line or something, heading
Yep.
into the zone, and you're not there. So yeah, you got to always kind of stay right there. Centerman, you got like we were talking to, it's almost like a free safety out there,
Right,
where
right, yep.
you can kind of gauge and see the play, and all right, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. You just have flexibility out there as a centerman, basically, as opposed to a winger.
Big time. Big time. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Hey, will you shut up?
Sorry about that. But so basically, to wrap them up, putting them 6 feet under until roughly September, or at least the draft, coming up in June for the hockey draft. But, what do you, with the Hexie, is that a step in positive direction? You say yes, correct?
I do. I think that this is. I honestly believe this is one of the best things they could have done right now.
Wow.
Not being it that it's Ron Hextall and I love him, but just being that they made a move at the GM position.
Yeah.
I think it gives you a fresh slate.
Well, it's been Homer a long time, right?
It has, and I like it too because it gives you a little bit of optimism.
Sure.
So, I mean, yeah, things could get worse. I mean, they could could not make the playoffs next year, and things can definitely go downhill from where they were this year. But this year could have been a lot worse too, the way they started.
Now, before Homer, it was Clark, right? I mean,
Yes.
we've had
Yeah,
had two general managers.
Homer was the intern, remember? And then they
Yeah.
made him full time.
Right. And I remember liking that at the time because it just seems like they just beat you down with the same old.
Well, what do you feel about this?
I love it. I
All
do,
right.
but I think Hexie is taking this position. I think perfect timing. I don't like Homer being a part of it still. I just think that get rid of him. I know that they're saying, hey, it's a family mentality. You're really still not going to have any input. But take this. I mean, the title's the fucking president. It's not like special to director to Johnny McSkate Clean. Or
I still think it's just a save face.
although that'd be a
I
cool
understand your concern. I really just think it's just a more safe face type
and
of
that's
thing.
fine, but I don't understand why they do that. It's my favorite organization. I think they take care of their own quote unquote a little too much. You don't got to give them a title. If you just want to give them $100,000 a year, and say that, just give them $100,000 a year. I'll be fine with sitting at home.
Look, we'll have answers.
I'll take it.
We're gonna have answers about this throughout the offseason when free agency comes,
Yeah.
and after the trade deadline this coming season. Then we're really gonna know, as far as rumors coming out and things surfacing, see what type of moves they make, if Homer still does have that type of an impact or not.
Well, yeah, I guess. I think Hexie's going to bring a fresh mentality. I really think that
Yes.
he's serious about what he said about not dicking around with the young talent. He's going to try and, if you're going to trade him, you're going to get something for him. You're not going to go after these old grizzled fucks. You know, I really believe that he learned something in L.A. But the main thing, I don't think the Flyers actually wanted to do this so quick. Homer still had a year left, and I think they honestly would have gone ahead and let Homer run it again for one more year. But people were knocking on that door for Hexie, and I really believe that's why they put him up so quickly, because I think Hexie might have jumped ship to another team, to be honest with you.
Do you think there's any part of you that feels as if they make a move at GM like this, and it kind of takes the spotlight just slightly off of Claude Giroux? It takes the pressure off of him just a little bit.
I don't know.
And he was absolutely horrible. Was he not in the playoffs?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't. That's interesting though.
I asked you one simple question, and you couldn't fucking answer me.
But I don't know. That's
You just told me you think that you believe personally that they thought they made this move a little early. Do you think there's any part of you that may believe?
I mean early, like year early, like Homer.
A year early.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay.
But Claude Giroux still being a significant part of this team, and
the most significant. I know Mason and all, but your captain.
Yeah. But also being a finalist now for the Hart Trophy. Not that he's going to win it.
Nope.
But do you really think about it? Do you think they made that move and kept Holmgren in the
loop,
in the program here in the organization to kind of take the spotlight off of G for a little bit?
No, because he answered his questions and he got out of town.
All right.
You know, I mean,
I'm just playing conspiracy theorist.
Hockey has, that's why being a hockey player is awesome, dude, because they got one of the best off seasons. They almost like the fact that, you were talking about our IT guy over there, Nepo downstairs. You guys were talking about how they're, ESPN and all the majority. If you're a hockey, you really have to do something special to get on fucking Sports Center. It's got to be, you got to win the Stanley Cup. Or, you barely get any recognition even when you win the Stanley Cup. But be a hockey player, man, on the off season. You can go do anything. First of all, if you live down south, but most of them probably go up to Canada, but you probably barely get recognized when you're out.
Absolutely.
You definitely don't have press chasing you down. The next time you're going to hear from Claude Giroux is if he fucking cuts his hand playing golf again like a dope.
Oh my God.
Or when we draft whoever we draft in the first round this year, which is in Philly, by the way. I would love to go. And then they're probably going to call him like the day after. Hey, what do you think about this guy being in your team? And he'll give that, stupid fucking regular old answer that they all do.
And that's the way that, by the way, everyone listening, that's the way every offseason should be for every sport.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't need to hear about any other sport except when free agency hits, if there's some type of major trade going on, if there's some type of a sale of a team.
You can't get away from some
all
of
that
it.
is fine. I don't need to hear about, there's 213 days until training camp, and oh my God.
Oh, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? It is time for the option, which is funny that happened right there, Fresh, because this kind of feeds right in. Holy segue. Speaking about something that people talk about all the fucking time, no matter what time of the year it is.
Speaking about something.
We have the option, and the option is a total rip off of one of the preeminent sports talk stations in Philadelphia that has what they call, and what Fresh and I like to call, MET. M-E-T, mandatory Eagles talk every day at 3 o'clock. Like,
Violation.
you don't fucking talk about it enough, all right? That was, by the way, now that it's NFL draft time, it's all Eagles talk, so it doesn't matter anyway. But that was during Flyers playoffs in which they had mandatory Eagles talk.
Correct.
So that's fucked up. Big time Vio. But our option every week is the option that I will ask Fresh. Fresh, would you like to talk about the WNBA this week?
Negatory.
Even though it was a positive soundbite. It's kind of...
Negatory is the correct answer.
Negatory, we go. And the affirmatory will be the NFL draft now and the birds, okay? Like I mentioned earlier.
Bird.
Now we're about...
Bird is a word.
I'd say the birds will probably pick in about 26 hours or so from now. Probably less than that. Say 25 hours. All right, so... what are you looking for here?
Defense. Defense.
Damn, and you know what? The worst thing you can do on radio, okay, or on shitty podcast in which 30 people listen.
What do those look like?
What's that?
I don't know what those are like. I'm not a part of one.
What, the shitty podcast or
No,
radio?
No, neither. I'm on a brilliant podcast and a brilliant radio.
I don't know.
Wow, where's the brilliant come in?
You're handsome.
Could be a crackhead.
Both. So what defense is correct. Now the best thing what you can do for radio is have the two people sit there and fucking argue And I would love to be on the other side of this and be like, you know what, though? We just traded this Pro Bowler, this fucking geek. Anyway, it's defense. It's defense. It's fucking defense. Oh, wait. I did that last week. I won't do that again. I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't. I apologize.
Why? Now,
it's all defense.
Look, I know it's defense, but you tell me why it's defense.
Because we gave up the most passing yards in the league last year. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
We're set on now. Granted, Riley Cooper's not the most solid second wideout, but he seemed to have a little bit of chemistry with Foles. Okay.
Yes, he did.
And probably more than a little bit, to be honest with you. Macklin's coming back, and as I mentioned on, I believe, our debut show, when it comes to Macklin and Deshaun Jackson, I will take Macklin, and probably 70% of the people would.
Yes.
Nepo downstairs, Macklin or Jackson? Macklin, correct. And 2 years ago, people would have said, or before last season, people would have said that. Macklin got hurt.
Said this already, yes.
Yes, exactly. So what we do is we have the better receiver out of those two, and both of those together, it doesn't really mix. You need anyway. What I'm trying to get to, we have all our starters on offense, all of them, all our starters. Now, if we draft somebody that might blow it up, if we trade up to get a Mike Evans, obviously, bye-bye Riley, you're in the slot again, pal. But we have all starters on offense. Defense, we have holes galore. The worst passing defense last year, I just swallowed my own tongue. We have no defensive end rusher or outside linebacker rush. We have no pass rush whatsoever. The quarterbacks have all day to do what they want, and that's just not going to work. You're not going to win a championship without a defense. And also, there's a team called the Seattle Seahawks that don't have the best offense in the world. But I think they got a pretty goddamn good defense. Well, I'm talking about you now. I'm giving you kudos.
And the two best teams in the NFC actually probably play in that division.
And
they both have stellar defenses.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what they hang their hat on.
That's exactly correct. And they both don't have... I mean, yes, you got to have a guy like Kaepernick on the 49ers.
Yep.
He can make plays, but he's nothing crazy when it comes to stat lines for touchdowns and yards.
I think he kind of got exposed last year, Kaepernick, a little bit.
Absolutely. But
I mean, people were on his ball hair. But
everything you said, I agree with about as far as why do defense not offense. You got two receivers who didn't play last year, and in Macklin, I call him a receiver, and then the guy who went out and got Sproles. Okay, he is going to be more of a receiver than he is going to be a runner. Okay?
I agree with that.
So you got those two on your team, and if you are one of these guys who's just going to sit here and Deshaun Jackson, you're not going to be able to replace him. He's irreplaceable. He's a Pro Bowler. Blah, 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 blah. Do you think that having Macklin and Sproles makes up for somebody like that? I think it more than compensates for somebody like that.
Big time.
So you have a quarterback last year who I understand will probably not repeat the same type of numbers he had, but will have now a full season under his belt to hopefully put together some of the numbers that he has. So, what if he has 30 touchdowns and 6 interceptions or something?
Here's my point. He didn't play all last year. People forget that.
That's right.
Now, the 29 touchdowns, I think I know he had 7 in one game.
Right.
So, I mean, it should probably be around 25 technically. But
right.
Foles going to play the whole year. And, look, he's not going to have 2 interceptions. You can damn sure it'd probably be a lot worse because people are going to get used to him. They got a lot of tape on him now. But he might be putting up 40 TDs next year, Paliendo.
Okay, yes. But I'm just saying I don't think he's going to be putting up 18 interceptions. I don't think he's going to do that.
Me neither.
Now,
he's too smart, I think.
That's why I think you can have all the tape on him you want, but when it comes down to his decision making and seeing the field, seeing the hot reads, seeing where the blitz is coming from, that you can't have tape on that. That's his decision making in the moment when the pressure's on.
Instinctual prowess.
Correct.
I call it IP.
And it reminds you a lot of what. And I don't want to jump the gun here because this is only 1 year of Foles.
Yep.
We got a lot to see still.
Yep.
But it reminds you of Manning, doesn't it? With just the way that he goes through his reads.
That is a little tough.
It reminds me of him in some ways.
I don't. It's Eli.
No, not Eli.
I'm scared to say the other one.
That's why I said I'm holding back a little bit, but it kind of reminds you of that. When does Peyton Manning put up 20 interceptions?
No, you never, right.
But he constantly...
Now, Peyton Manning's the smartest quarterback I've ever seen.
Oh, my God, he is, yes.
So, I mean, that's a hard analogy to jump on board with, and I understand.
Peyton Manning
I know what you're saying.
I agree. Peyton Manning is the smartest quarterback you've ever seen. Do you think Nick Foles is a smart quarterback, though?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so I personally believe he has a chance to not become Peyton Manning. but definitely be a superstar in this league.
No, I agree, and that's you're not just going to come out here and say, "Yo, he's the next Peyton Manning,
No way.
guarantee, lock it
Absolutely
up,
not.
tat out." But he's got he could. I mean, I'm not saying he can't,
You have potential.
but he's I think he's perfect for not necessarily the game. See, that's the thing. We always talked about this too. People go, "Oh, well, he doesn't fit the game plan. He doesn't fit the scheme." Well, they had Michael Vick and they got rid of him. And they could have drafted other people. Now that brings on the NFL draft talk with the Manziel thing.
You know what's insane though? We've been sitting here talking about the Eagles for what, like 8 minutes, 10 minutes. We still haven't even mentioned that they still have their best player on the entire team on offense.
You mean entire league?
Exactly
Yeah.
correct. Entire
Right.
league.
Yep.
In LaShawn McCoy.
Right.
So, again.
So we got
defense.
this quarterback who threw 2 interceptions last year. Went to the Pro Bowl. We have this guy who's probably the best player in all of the game on the offensive side of the ball.
Correct.
We got a 1,000-yard receiver coming back off an injury who's got a 1-year contract with something to prove.
Yep.
We got a dude who's a tall receiver who used to be a slot guy, now is going to be our number 2 probably, depending on how the draft goes.
Correct.
And has incredible. I was going to use insatiable. I don't know if that works.
And you got a firecracker and Darren Sproles.
Now you got Sproles.
Sproles coming back in who can do
Who
pretty
probably
much
will play
anything.
the slot. I got news for you, too. Ertz is going to be a big-time improvement this year, and I
that's-
guarantee he's playing on the out more than he plays on the tight end this year.
I absolutely agree.
Yes. What? And then you look at your offensive line, a lot coming back.
Yep.
You still got Lane Johnson getting smarter. I know Herman's a year older, but you got people like Kelsey and all that. I mean, what's there to worry about on the offense? Draft defense every fucking round this year, you idiots. Unless you get like Allen Robinson from PSU in the second round, I'll do that.
Okay, we both kind of like the same guy here for 22 if he's available.
Yeah, my favorite. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite because I think safety is more of importance than cornerback. But Fresh and I both love Fuller from Virginia Tech. Love him, the cornerback. Love him. Is that your number 1?
Yes.
Yeah. So he probably wouldn't be my number 1. My number 1 would probably still be Calvin Pryor. But he is slipping up so high. I think he's like 15 right now. They're actually Clinton Dix from my squad, Roll Tide, is dropping back a lot. And he's actually, just, right when we were on air, when that fucking song was playing, the Score Mobile shot me a little update where, he says, Hashawn Clinton Dix to the Eagles. Draft me. I want to be there. I'm coming. Let's go.
Because he knows, because he wants to be a part of this.
Yeah, and apparently he's got boys here too, but whatever, that dude's square, the defensive line. Well, here's my thing. All right. We got to wrap our heads around this. Do you know what the Eagles have drafted more than anything in the last 10 years?
More than anything in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, as far as position-wise, I mean a very vague position. I'm not trying to. They've either there's only been 1 year that they drafted none. Go ahead.
Is it a tackle?
Well, I mean, offensive line. That's
Okay.
what I mean. I'm doing very, very vague. Or defensive line. The last time, and they drafted Jeremy Maclin. They traded up in 2009 to get him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every year since, I think, 2003, so over 10 years, we've either drafted an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman in the first round. We got to get away from these lines. And I know some people want like I was saying, an end rusher, but I want that in the form of a linebacker, like an Anthony Barr from UCLA or something like that, okay? We need to get this secondary and the linebacking core solidified as much as possible because that's where our holes are.
I can remember a draft that we had where we had holes in the secondary, and we went out and got Lito Shepherd.
Do you know? You just, I mean, we don't do much pre-production.
And who else did we do? Who else did we get?
Who else did we do? And the Lito Shepherd, Sheldon Brown.
Sheldon Brown.
There you go.
That was a pretty good tandem, wasn't it?
Hell yeah. Well, here's the thing. What I was about to say, our last first round pick was in, I think it was 02 or 03. Like I said, 03 I think it was. That was not an offensive defensive lineman or not Jeremy Maclin in 09. Was Lito Shepherd from Florida.
Yep.
And that turned out pretty damn well.
Pretty fucking good.
And Sheldon, I'm glad I picked that one out of the air. And you picked my brain. We don't do
your
much
brain.
pre-show, like I was saying, but that was my next point, the Lito Shepherd thing.
Yep.
And then you brought it back with the Sheldon Brown. Hell of a tandem. And how'd that work out for about 6 years?
A lot of NFC Championship games,
Look,
I believe.
you got that right. And there's no room for you got like you got a window of 5 years to win a title with your core.
Yes.
There's no other sport where it's such a short time
Window,
frame.
absolutely,
Yeah, window.
yes.
Definitely. So you need to make sure you get it right. And now they're talking trade up into the top 10 Eagles. Look, that's going to take a lot of fucking picks, man. And Mayock was doing they have like a pick chart where it goes by points. And the 8th pick, say if we trade up to the 8th pick, that's worth like 1,460 points, right? our current 22 is worth like 700 points. So you still have like 720 points to overcome. If you traded our second and our fourth and our third and all, you still had points left on the table. It's like you would have to trade our first this year, our first next year, and probably a third this year or a second. It's ridiculous.
And you have so many problems on defense right now.
And you know who we would trade up to get?
There's
Mike Evans or someone. I've worn out.
Exactly. You have so many holes on defense right now that we're going to sound like a dead horse. We're going to beat this to death.
Right.
That there's so many holes. So if you trade up, even if you trade up to get one of the top defensive players, even let's just say they traded up, okay, and this is not going to happen, to get Clowney. Let's just say for absolutely, we're talking for fuck's sake right now.
That is for fuck's sake.
Okay, not going to happen.
Wow.
But what are you going to give up to do that? First of all, okay, and
now you're talking one. That's even holy hell.
You need more than just Clowney at this point, still on this defense, in order to be successful and consistent. To have teams put up, only 20 or 22 points a game consistently, or slightly less than that. We don't need to be seeing teams keep scoring in the 30s. High 20s and the 30s and the 40s some games as well.
Look, greatest show on turf. Don't win Super Bowls anymore. I'm telling you that right now. So they really need to get their shit together when it comes. I think that Chip is kind of like Andy, where it's you came from the offensive side, and it's really all you think really wins the games. I don't know. I'm not a Chip guy. Not that I'm not. I hate him like I hated Andy.
I don't want to say that just yet.
Well, now what now? Like, do you get a good vibe?
Good vibe.
I guess you have to because you're 10-6. But for Chip in general, do you get a good vibe? Yes or no? Percentage 50 on the green side or the red side?
I'm. Oh man. Look, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt because he did take this team to the division championship.
10-6 and all that jazz.
So yeah, I'll say I'm leaning more slightly to a good vibe, but the jury's still out for me on him. I don't really know yet. I really want to find out what happened with the Deshaun thing, the actual truth about everything. Yeah. The way he handled that was, in my opinion, a little weird.
I just think that he hates thugs, which is fine
with
me.
Good for him. That's
exactly.
great. If that's the case, just come out and say it.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You imagine that? Holy shit. Yeah, he come out and...
What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, I mean, he would come out and just he would lose a job. He'd go fucking find
there's
apartment with that dude
there's
from the Clippers.
appropriate ways of saying that without actually saying that, okay?
What, thug?
No, I just... he's He's a punk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can come out and say he's a punk.
Big time.
Okay.
He is a punk.
He is a punk. He's 100% fucking punk.
Yep.
He's a black punk. And
a blunk.
He's a blunk.
Or a punkat. No, that didn't work at all.
Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah.
So I
see how he snuck black punk in there, you hear that?
Yeah. Black
snuck
punk.
That in. What an asshole.
Dude, I love LaShawn McCoy, I love Jeremy Maclin. I love these
my
guys.
best friend, all my dads are black.
Oh, how many dads do you have?
Couple.
All right.
I don't know.
So
I love Wade Simmons too, by the way. I
well,
love that
he's
guy.
not black.
Oh no?
No.
What is he?
Canadian. That doesn't count.
Where did this go?
That's like saying a dude from Jamaica is black.
A dude from Jamaica is black.
Are you affirming that?
Well,
like if that dude came up and said, "What's up, man?" You'd be like, "Ah, black dude's crazy."
What else would I say?
I don't know.
That white dude's crazy?
You're mean.
How am I mean?
I don't know. That white dude's crazy. Yeah, you should. You know why? That would freak him out. I'd just be like,
Get the fuck out!
because I'm not dealing with no Jamaicans.
All right, so defense.
Okay. I don't want any Jamaicans on my defense. I don't think
But you don't want any Jamaicans on your defense, but you might want specifically
another shot.
A specific nationality for a specific position.
Yeah, I'll take them all, pal.
For a team that you're making.
I have the keys.
What?
I have the keys to the car here for the team. I can make my own team.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to get into very shortly, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay.
I believe we are. And we also have a nice 3 coming up, too.
We do.
But let's just focus on one thing here. The defense is what they need to do. And if they don't, how pissed off will you be tomorrow if they pick a wideout at 22? I mean, if they trade up to get Mike Evans, that means we have no more picks forever, okay?
Forever.
if they wait till 22 and someone like Kelvin Benjamin, which I'll be pissed off about, I'm not sure how, up to date you are on these cats, but someone like him, someone like Odell Beckham Jr. from LSU, which people are actually saying is going to take. Dude, I got news for you. I'm a Bama guy. I love Bama, and with that being said,
that's why you're slightly
no, skewed
a little bit.
No, Clinton Dix is a business.
I like Clinton Dix.
Yeah, I know you do.
Okay.
So, C.J. Mosley, linebacker for Bama, who's supposed to be going, early teens, if he slips, I'll rock and roll with him all day. I kind of don't want Clinton Dix. You know why? I'm sick of fucking random syllable here, Sean first names, okay? Ha Sean. Thank God we got rid of Deshaun.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
I'm tired of these Jamaicans with these fucking wacky ones.
This is ridiculous.
What if we still had
That is
Deshaun?
the dumbest rationale I've ever heard in my life.
I don't want a hat trick of bleh Sean's, okay?
Bleh Sean's?
Yeah, they're all.
One of them's gone.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That Sean is gone.
That would have been. That's why I said, thank God we got rid of him at least. You know?
So there should be room for another one then. We're not adding it to it. We're just just breaking even at this point.
There should be team meetings to figure out a new name for these assholes.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I can to get you involved in that meeting.
If still talking to each other or even know where they're at, have really fucked them over for life. And I'm talking, maybe not these multimillionaires, but other ones that share the name.
Oh, my God. We have a Sean sitting next to us, by the way.
Yeah. What are the letters before his name? S-E-A-N.
There are none.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, he is Jamaican now, so. Just shot down my theory.
Holy crap.
I know. Wow.
Didn't know that was coming.
Do we know what anything's coming on here?
I had no idea you were about to say all that
I'm a man.
gibberish.
I'm 40.
You know? So right now, before we get to that 3 that we talked about, that's going to be very interesting. You have a very special On the Clock this week. On the Clock because it is a draft show.
Yes.
But you're going to bombard me with some shit.
I am.
Now, he told me one of them, and I still don't have my answer. But the other 2, this was pre-show. The other 2 he has not told me. He's going to run through them. I'm going to try and think about it, and while we take care of the next segment as well. But On the Clock every week is what kind of Little John that we do that.
So here we go. I am going to ask my dear friend Wood over here. He's creating a football team again because on the eve of draft, football draft here.
With Jamaicans.
We're gonna celebrate a little bit. We're gonna go 3 on the clocks this week instead of 1. And I am going to ask him my first on the clock. He has got to pick any Asian pitcher in Major League Baseball history to be his
Hickory
kicker.
Now, I will be full disclosure right there. That is the one that you told me earlier. So I had some time to think about that.
Correct.
I have my answer. Shall I, or should we?
Yeah, okay, give me that one.
All right.
Light on me.
Like I mentioned earlier, what you need to do is you need to think about flexibility, right, with a kicker, and agility, right? Okay.
Okay.
So that, to me, goes right to the Asian that had the most flexibility in any windup I've ever seen.
Oh, I know where we're going here.
Former Rookie of the Year, L.A. Dodger, Hideo.
No.
He can come kick for me anytime. No Jamaican kickers here.
Imagine to be kicked as slow as he pitched.
Oh, my God.
Every one of them would get blocked.
Not blocked. They would tackle the dude and just steal the ball and run it back. Holy.
Can you imagine a wind-up with a kick like that with the foot?
Oh, my God. I guess that would be a constant
Yes.
offside or encroachment.
I guess so. I kind of want to see it, though.
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Hideo.
You know, it'd be like the equivalent of Arena Football League. You know how their wide receivers get a running start?
Yeah.
It'd be like, just for the Asians only. Any Asian kicker in the NFL get to do some wacky fucking hieroglyphic dance before they kick the ball.
All right. Got my number 2 for you.
All right. Now,
Number
this is
2.
brand new.
This is a little different than what we're used
Well,
to.
yeah, because that one was very
Very
up my alley.
normal, correct? So, in addition to players, you got to get yourself a coach.
True. In any sport you're talking about right now?
So, well, you're building your football team still. You already have your Asian kicker.
Hell yeah.
Okay. You now need a coach for your football team.
Okay.
And this coach must be a championship caliber NBA coach of all time.
For football, huh?
For football. So think about that for a second.
All right, let me just kind of jot down that.
Okay.
NBA coach for football.
This must be an NBA coach with a ring.
I think I might have it, but
whose coaching ability can translate onto the football field as well.
Yeah, I think I have it, but I'm gonna wait off for a little bit.
You're going to wait off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want your last one?
Yeah. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Need a quarterback for that football team. Okay.
Sure.
Got your Asian kicker,
Yeah, I do. I got my old NBA coach there.
your NBA coach, and you need yourself a quarterback. Any captain in Flyers history
Wow.
to be your quarterback.
Wow. Now that's going to take some time. All right. Any captain in Flyers history to be a quarterback. Now, here's what we want to eventually do, folks. We're expanding. I just finally fixed the Facebook page to where it's likes instead of friendship
I
Jones,
noticed.
which is awesome. We need everybody to keep sharing, keep posting. I saw my man Meat Petter last week was a friend of the show, so he went ahead and sent it out.
Cousin did the same thing.
Yeah,
Paul said he
absolutely.
was listening to live. He's going to be sharing the show. So
Love it.
absolutely love it. Thank you, Paul.
So, yeah, keep rocking and rolling. We appreciate that big time. And we want everybody to do that. But also, what we're going to do eventually is have people hopefully do their own on Twitter for us to answer for them or just their own answers to these questions.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about it. Any captain for the Flyers in history to be a fucking quarterback? Come on now. So, let's get some answers and hear from you guys on that as well. I was talking during that, so I didn't really have any time to think. I'm not
Well,
really-
you think a little bit. We'll do the top three, or we'll do our three
All right.
Eagles moments.
Here comes our three. Dun-dun-dun. Top three Eagles moments in history.
No, Eagles moments that we've lived through.
In our history. Well, it's not
In
like
our
our
history.
fucking listening base remembers, Steve Van Buren busting one
I'm
out.
just saying.
All right. So, you want to start one off?
I will.
Your number three. Top three Eagles moments in our lifetime. I was born in 82. You were born in what, 86, 84, 89?
86. Whoa there, Chieftain.
I thought you were looking younger.
Okay, we'll go from, as always, the bottom to the top. My number three, without a doubt, is 4th and 26.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll tell you.
I hate Freddie Mitchell, but holy mother of God, that play was fucking awesome.
It was amazing.
It was that is the epitome of sport right there. You are all but done. There's 26 yards. It's 4th down. They know the pass is coming, and Donovan somehow finds Freddie Mitchell, and
Tell me where you were.
huh?
Tell me where you were. That's one of those I know where I was at moments.
I was watching it with my pop
Gotcha.
at home, like a
Reaction
a
was?
little good boy does, I guess. But
So you are younger, see?
Huh?
You were a lot younger then. You were a little boy at the time. I was in captain. I was a senior in high school.
Well-
a senior in college, sorry.
I was in high school.
What was your reaction, besides the obvious?
I couldn't even say anything as soon as I saw him catch a ball. But I was, after I, took the moment of awe for a second, I just started doing what we all did and
Yep.
jumping up and down and cheering, and oh my God, that just happened.
I was a senior in college. Had a bunch of people over our townhouse. Had a lot of people over, right? Brett, one of my best friends of all time. A big guy, big muscle guy, likes to work out. He, on 3rd down, I think it was like 2nd down or something, he picked up our coffee table. It was just a wooden coffee table. Over his head, slammed it down, million pieces, bye-bye. 3rd down, incomplete. It was 3rd and 26, incomplete, right? And I remember sitting on the doorstep, threw my bottle of beer, broke it everywhere, and I was sitting there with my hands in my head. My hands in my head. That's how hard I put my head in my hands. And
You're
so I'm
alone
sitting
on
there.
this?
Yeah, I was big time. And I didn't see the play. I'll admit. I heard it because I couldn't watch anymore. I couldn't watch that play. I just couldn't.
Bailed on your team.
No.
When they need the most.
No. I'm not going to watch, like, if I have kids and they're drug addicts, I'm not going to watch them die.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
We'll get some hate mail.
Yeah. I'll take that.
I would like to get any
the
mail.
first mail ever. Yeah, seriously. God, hate mail make me sad.
Made me feel like a piece of shit.
All right, what do you got for me, number three?
My number 3 is one of my favorite players of all time leaving. His name is Michael Vick, and that guy sucks.
Can I get an applause for that or
I
something?
fucking hate that asshole, Him leaving should probably be number 1, but unfortunately there's been a couple other things that really stuck out in my mind because he doesn't deserve to be a number 1 on any list
Ever.
ever. He is the worst. I hate him. He's my most hated athlete in the history of the world. He is the most racially polarizing athlete I've ever seen. Like when you listen to sports talk, like the white dudes hate him No, they don't even hate him, actually. A lot of white dudes like him. But all the black guys have his back no matter what just because he's black. That's straight up. That is how it always is. It's always been like that. I never understood it. But they always had some family backing after the whole dog thing.
Well,
Like,
they're brothers.
well, I guess, but we're brothers. We like to use R&S.
Well, I like that.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
I like that. I like that number 3 from you.
Yeah.
Not in my top 3, but I definitely understand. There were lots of people who refused to watch the Eagles until he was gone anyway.
I actually watched them, but I can't believe, and this might lose respect from people listening. That's fine. For Michael Vick's tenure here, I legitimately hated and rooted against the Eagles, and it was about 51% Michael Vick and 49 Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And I legitimately rooted against them. Cowboys Eagles 2010, rooted against the Eagles, rooted for the Cowboys. And I was a straight up fantasy football player then. I didn't have any allegiance. I wanted the Eagles to go 0-16 every year with him hiking that fucking ball.
Yep.
What a loser! What a total loser! And then he couldn't be healthy for any year. He finished second in the MVP voting one year, and everyone was like, "Oh well." And the worst part is when he got let go, you got a lot of his backers calling up and saying, "Yo, didn't you see what he did 3 years ago? It's football. You got like a 2.5 average lifetime. What do you mean 3 years ago?
I know. I look. I got you. You're preaching to the choir.
You're taking
here.
a Bronx."
Number 2 for me.
Yeah.
Playoff game versus the New Orleans Saints. Oh, we know where we're going with
Can
this
we have
one.
the Olympic boom, 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 boom? Remember that YouTube video when they played that right
Yes, I
before
do.
the impact?
Reggie Bush catches the ball
And aforementioned.
from Drew. Yes, and aforementioned from Drew Brees, and just gets a foot down, and before he can even completely turn his body, here comes a frickin' freight train of Sheldon Brown and knocks that motherfucker out of air onto the ground on his back.
God.
He
Boom!
It actually looked like I remember watching that with my then girlfriend, and I jumped, and I felt like I was never going to come down. I jumped so high, screaming, "Holy
Yep.
shit!" I thought the game was over right there.
And we had Garcia, too, so it was like, holy shit.
I literally, legitimately thought Bush was down. He looked like he was injured. Ended up he just got the wind knocked out of him, and he ended up coming back into the game.
Having a pretty good
Okay,
game.
yeah, he did.
Yep.
But at that exact moment, that was just like the Giroux hit on Crosby. You remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
And on that shift, he scored
And
a
then he
goal like
scored
10
it right
seconds
after,
later.
Absolutely. And then he went like this. Come on the fuck on.
That's what that. I mean, now that play. Excuse me. That play actually happened before the Giroux thing, but I'm just saying they're similar.
No, right. Exactly.
It's kind
it's
of
a hype playoff
oh my
moment that
God.
you'll never forget.
It's
and
set
you'll
the
never
tempo.
forget that Giroux thing.
Never. I'll never
But
do
that
it.
was probably one of the most hype hits in a playoff game I've ever seen. Doesn't matter what team you're talking about.
That's exactly right.
I was at Fluke's watching that, and which is a bar, and I had the opportunity to be at a bar to watch that hit. Imagine that place, dude. Holy
God.
fucking Moses! All right, on to my number 2. Had to do with, I believe it was 95, and it was one of those things that you'll never forget, based on the call as well. Both Merrill Reese for the Eagles and the national people, which was Madden and Summerall at the time, which fuck do I miss them when it comes to the shit we got to listen to now. But Eagles Cowboys, Sunday afternoon. They stopped them again. Do you remember that?
Emmitt Smith.
Goal line stance, baby.
Yep, I remember that.
They stop them again. They go for it on 4th twice. They get 2 chances to do it, and we stuffed them. And that was the start of, hey, I think this team might do something. Now, granted, we never did, but that moment against the Cowboys, who were coming off, I believe, their 2nd straight championship, was just the hatred for that fucking team, that stupid star, that whole fucking city.
America's team.
Dude, that stupid mantra, everything. And they'll step on their asses like that, and it was great. And Summerall and John, Merrill Reese has that infamous call where you go, "They stop him again," like that.
Yep.
Which is amazing. But the better call was John Madden's, because Summerall goes, and they stop him, and John Madden just goes, "This is unbelievable.
Yep.
This is unbelievable," just like that, like totally shocked. Oh, it was greatest. And that was when Barry Switzer took over. I think that was his first year. That idiot. That dude's a bumbling fuck.
Well, I guess that sets up our number 1s, and I have a feeling they might be the same.
I don't think they are.
Really?
Yes.
Well, then I'm very disappointed that this didn't make your top 3 then.
Yeah, I put it together quick.
Did you?
I told you my first one.
Did you?
Yeah, and you said that's not on mine.
Oh, you're right. Then I'm very disappointed in you.
Wow, I'm going to be pissed, aren't I?
I think you might.
Is it when Vic got second place in the MVP?
It was in 2010.
It was in 2010?
It was in 2010.
All right, let's do little 20 questions to...
It was against a division foe.
Okie dokie.
It was on the road.
Oh, it's right there.
It is right there.
It's right there. I got it framed. Yeah, but I hate that idiot.
I hate that idiot too.
I know, it's
But
amazing.
it was still an Eagles moment.
Why'd they punt to him?
You know what happened to that punter, right?
No, yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. He's right.
He literally got caught on the field.
That's correct.
Coughlin went over and said, "You get the fuck out."
Yes.
Get the fuck out!
Eagles are down by 4 touchdowns. Actually,
Vic was on that
it was
team,
3
too.
touchdowns, wasn't it? And then the fourth one actually gave them the win.
No, I think we were down 4.
Was it?
I mean, we were down a lot because I had a bet on that game, and I ended up winning.
Whatever.
I couldn't believe it.
Miracle in the Meadowlands number 2. That was by far my favorite Eagles moment that I've been alive for. And
Was it snowing that day, or was it cold? It was like
it was
December,
not,
right?
It was not snowing that day.
I think it was like. I think it was cold.
Oh, I see why we want to do that.
Oh no! That was very organic.
Organic.
That just happened, you know.
Holy crap.
It's one of those things you just can't.
So
God, I want to touch that soundboard.
I was watching that at Miller's house.
Yeah.
And
in that little back room, it's awesome to watch a game.
yes, absolutely. And it was me, Miller, I think Greg was there, and Billy was there. And the reason Billy was there is because
That's a shame.
we were actually playing each other in the playoffs.
Playoffs. Yep.
You kidding me?
And I ended up beating him by like 4 or 5 points that week.
This is
in
in
the
our
playoffs.
league here. This is our initial.
This is our inaugural year. And I ended up beating him by 4 or 5 points in the fantasy game
Playoffs.
that week. And it was whoever won that game actually went to the championship.
Gotcha. Good for Boom.
And I got news for you. If Jackson doesn't run that back, I lose by 1.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah. That's because we were still giving points to run backs. Remember? We
Yeah,
fixed that
yeah,
the
yeah,
second
yeah.
year,
Yep.
but that first year, it was just a little glitch. We had been doing it all year long, so we had to
Holy
keep it going
shit.
to the playoffs.
Wow.
I swear.
So that had double meaning for you.
It was, well,
I mean, more so for just the
dude, more so
pure-
just because I wanted to see them win, and I'm an Eagles fan, and it was just a bonus that I had them on my team too, and
Yep.
it just meant a lot for me getting into the championship game for our league. But
That's awesome.
that watching him run that back and then him get to the goal line and there's no one near him and he's running horizontally across the line, and Deshaun Jackson, I hate your fucking guts, but I do want to say thank you for that moment.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
That's his number one moment. He'll never have a better moment than that in his career. Although, I want to ask a quick question.
Sure.
You ask anybody not a diehard Eagles fan, right? You know, when I lived in Vegas and stuff, a lot of people out there were Cowboys fans because they're just idiots. But anywhere in, say, the Midwest and West from that, if you ask them, what do you know, and we're talking about like Flyer or Eagles fans, or I'm sorry, football fans, what do you know Deshaun Jackson for? What do you think they would say?
Dropping the ball at the end zone.
What don't you fucking understand?
Why?
Twice.
Yeah, the one in college and then the one in...
Twice.
So, I mean, that's just kind of shows what kind of idiot that is, that after all that, he runs back that amazing play, and it was amazing. And I guarantee you, it's one of those. But he does all that, and he still runs horizontally on that goal line. It was almost like exuberance because I was winning money when that happened. I was watching it over my in-laws' house, and when we were going crazy, I actually burned it on DVDs and sent it to people for Christmas presents and all that because the game was epic as far as the return. And for him to run horizontally on that, I was like, you know what?
I know.
Almost don't even go in, you fucking idiot.
I know.
I hate that shit. Anyway, you were disappointed in me for not doing that. Not saying that one. I'm kind of disappointed in you for this not even making top 3, though.
Okay, let's go.
Can't even make the top 3. We made the Super Bowl. It's the NFC Championship game
No.
against the Falcons.
And I told
man.
you why it wouldn't make it because it just reminds me of all the times we've come close and haven't gotten there.
I understand that, but to be part of a Super Bowl in our lifetime, it's the only time, and it was the only second Super Bowl in team history. Look, we should have won it if we didn't have a fucking quarterback who downed the fucking Smirnoff right before the huddle, and we have people with asshole hands like the LJ Smith. These fucking assholes.
Goal is to win Super Bowls, not NFC championships. That's what it comes down to. Yes,
I understand.
It was
but
great.
Look,
it was great going to the Super Bowl.
It took us so long to actually get to the Super Bowl that you could have had exuberance enough to make it top 3 on your fucking list.
No.
You're a jitbag. You know that?
Those three specific plays. If you're talking about overall performance of a season, well, absolutely. But I'm talking just about 3 specific individual plays.
So when Brian Dawkins screams hallelujah, that didn't give you chills so much that could make top 3?
Not past some other 3 I just told you.
That's just
Jeez, if you're defending it so much, why didn't they make your top 3?
What? That's what I said.
How-
It's my one.
Okay, you're talking about the team making the NFC Championship game, though.
Yeah, that's
You're not
no-
talking about him screaming
no,
hallelujah.
No, you mean the team making the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Super Bowl.
I'm talking about the feeling of winning the NFC Championship
Yeah,
game.
it was
going
a
to the Super
great
Bowl.
feeling of an overall feeling.
You
And then
understand what I'm
they
talking about.
lost the Super Bowl. Wow. That's
Yeah,
what I remember about that year. Not winning the NFC Championship game, losing the Super Bowl.
Where were you when we won the NFC Championship game? Watching it with your pop? What kind of feeling did you have?
Where was
2
I?
weeks. 2 weeks of raw, utter excitement and anticipation
I was
you've
working.
never felt before, ever. And that's because of that win and how
then-
we won.
And let me ask you this.
fucking
And let me ask you
Al
this.
J. Crumpler getting murdered.
And then as good as you
and
felt,
Hollis Thomas
as good as you
kicking
felt
that Jamaican's ass.
at the after winning the NFC Championship game,
Well,
how
fuck you.
fucking horrible did you feel when you're sitting there watching our quarterback have a chance to go down and at least tie or win the game, and just completely fucks up?
But you're talking
and
about moments.
loses the Super Bowl.
That moment you're talking about is 2 weeks after mine.
But that's all I remember from that year. As
But
far
that's
as
not the moment. The moment.
okay,
Look
whatever.
it up, baby. Webster's.
Not happening.
There's other ones.
It'll never be on my top 5.
All right. Well, that wraps up their
Dur.
3 for the week. All righty. We do also have one last segment called This or That.
And we got to go back to You're on the Clock.
Let me do this or that, and then we'll get the
Give
on
me
the
the
clock.
this or that.
All right. So, in anticipation of next week's show, possibly, hopefully, maybe, folks, we may be on our first remote. In anticipation of that,
Remote control.
Fresh has another gig, believe it or not. He just doesn't do this, ladies and gentlemen. But he enjoys working as a manager, correct?
Currently incorrect.
Okay, but yeah, let's not fuck around here.
There's possibilities.
Yeah, big head of yours, you know you got manager on the brain.
Okay.
So we might be at the hookah bar next week, right? Might be.
Maybe.
What's the name of the hookah bar?
Sol Luna.
Yep, giddy up. In Feasterville, technically?
It's in Feasterville on Street Road, 650 West Street Road.
Alrighty. So, in anticipation of maybe being there next week, and drop on by, we'll let you know about that. Check out the Facebook page, like it, and the Twitter account, giddy up. I have a this or that for it.
Okay.
You can have this. It's an Eagles Super
okay.
Bowl this year.
Okay.
Or you can have that, which is a year's supply of your favorite hookah stuffs.
Fuck you.
What would you rather have?
Eagles Super Bowl.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
All right.
This isn't even close.
Man. Would you rather have an NFC Championship game with the anticipation for 2 weeks?
Well, I'm sorry. Would I rather have an NFC Championship game knowing we're going to lose?
Well, now that the Super Bowl was your obvious answer.
Okay.
No, not knowing you're going to lose. Would you rather have a trip to the Super Bowl or hookah stuffs for a year?
Okay. So you're saying that
I just knocked it
you're
down
not
back.
telling me that I'm going to lose in the Super Bowl. You're saying I'm guaranteeing a trip to the
Don't
Super
you
Bowl.
fucking understand?
Correct.
Yeah, I'll take the trip to the Super Bowl.
All right, look at you. You should. You're doing a sports podcast here.
Well, this is a no-brainer.
I didn't know it would be a no-brainer, to be honest with
It's been, what, 40 years since a Flyers championship?
you. You love that shit. I don't know.
I
You
do
know?
love that shit, but
Yeah.
not more than I would love a fucking championship
Well, or a chance to. That's the thing.
or a chance to. If you're telling me that I'm representing the NFC in the Super Bowl,
How about hookah
I'll
stuffs?
take that.
Hookah stuffs for a year, or the Flyers would have beat the Rangers in the first round.
I'll take the Flyers in the first round, absolutely.
Dude, I might even take the hookah stuffs for a fucking year. I don't even do that shit.
Could be a crackhead.
So let's go back to the on the clock.
my
We had
God.
2 left. The second one was, I believe, the coach, right?
Yes.
NBA coach that would show some leadership and be a good NFL coach, right?
Yes.
The first one that immediately came
Please
to
don't say
mind
him.
is probably not. I don't
hope
know.
not.
Is Chuck Daly,
Okay, fine.
former Detroit Piston coach. I think he is the mirror image of Mike Ditka.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are you saying not to? Phil Jackson?
Phil Jackson.
Fuck him, dude. I hate that idiot.
I
His
hate-
little
I hate
fucking
Phil
patch
Jackson,
and all that
Phil
shit.
Jackson just reminds me of a little fucking spoiled princess who would never make it in the NFL.
He is. And he's got that little... dude. And you want to talk about fool yourself.
I'd rather see Pat Riley in the league than fucking Phil Jackson.
I'd like... Yeah. You know what I hate about... I hate Pat Riley, too. I hate anybody who reminds me of the Lakers, the Knicks, or the Heat, or anything. I hate that league.
I get it. But I like Pat Riley. You know? I always did.
Sausage competition.
Why do you like Pat Riley?
I don't know.
His hair?
Yeah, his hair.
Yeah, you said it. All right? You heard that.
Sound like a game.
Now, you know there was only... Now, your last one on the clock. You know there was only 19 captains in Flyers history, right? Drew
Yeah.
was the 19th.
Okay.
So, and from the list of them, they're not very agile, you know?
Okay.
So
You don't always need agility to be a quarterback.
Yeah, and they're not always the smartest, by the way.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to put Eric Lindros as a quarterback. All right.
That's fine.
I'm
I'm
not
not asking you to.
I'm not putting Bobby Clark as a quarterback because he's too tiny. I'm not putting Bill Barber there. He's tiny.
I already got mine.
Mine's Peter Forsberg.
No.
Because that motherfucker can get out of you know what Peter Forsberg is the Johnny Manziel of Swedish hockey. Person. You know what I'm saying? Who would be yours then?
Keith Primo.
I don't know.
Why? I looked. He's as immobile as a.
I don't need him to be mobile. I need him to be big. He can see over the line. He's huge. I'm sure he's got huge hands. I don't know how big his hands are. I've never measured them, but I'm pretty sure that he's probably going to be hard to bring down. And yeah, he can't run around that often.
Yeah,
But remember, you're talking about guys in their prime of their career.
I don't need mobility. I need agility. Okay, and I don't think Primo has any agility.
At this point in his life, no.
Why am I saying that?
But I'm pretty sure he did at one point when he was 22, 23, 24.
Yeah, but he sucked when he wasn't a captain then.
Oh, okay. So everything he did up to that point.
So you're
Didn't
talking
earn him
about
the captain?
you would take the captain of the Flyers before when he was even captain, like when he was like in his 20s,
I'm just saying.
like early 20s.
Yeah, I'm not saying at the time when they were a captain.
Okay, any captain.
I'm talking
during their
about
career.
any captain. So
I'd
if
still go Forsberg.
you were to take Jason Smith, which you shouldn't,
No.
but if you were, whatever he was during the prime.
Right, when he was in Edmonton 10 years before.
Correct. Whenever he was in the
But I
prime
agree.
of
I still
what
go
is-
Forsberg.
That's
I think he's the
fine.
most. I think out of any captain in the history that we ever had, he is the most talented and could. I mean, sure they don't know fucking football over there, but he could probably parlay it into a sport in which like rugby and shit like that better than any other captain in history.
Right.
Do yourselves a favor, folks. Look up these captains. You're talking about like Mel Bridgman, the Bill Barber, Dave Poland, Eric Lindros, Eric Desjardins.
Eric Desjardins.
I mean, who the fuck are you going to pick out of that? I mean, let me just put it this way. It would be between Primo and Forsberg. I go Forsberg. Primo's probably the second place there.
All right,
Maybe
fine.
Dave Poland, to be honest with you, but he's a little short, too. You got to admit, hockey players are a little bit smaller than people think. Standing on those skates is a whole lot different standing on those cleats.
Brandon was captain too for a while, wasn't
Not for us.
he? You're right.
Yeah, he was
Right.
captain down south and
He was
won
an A.
himself
He was
a
an A.
cup. One of the best days of all time.
Yes.
Speaking of A's, these two A's are going to hit the bricks next week, possibly on our first remote.
We'll let you know.
Giddy up. Yeah, check out the Facebook, Twitter. Twitter, at
handles.
Unanswered PTS. You love saying that, baby. We got to. You know what? I got to get that as a drop, for you.
Check out the handles.
Give him the hand. I like
Give him
giving
the
the
handles.
handles. Giving him the business. All right.
Oh yeah, the bitch.
So, at Unanswered PTS, Facebook.com/ I think it's now Unanswered PTS too. Just search Unanswered Points. And just go on YouTube. Search Unanswered Points. We like us.
We're so organized.
Subscribe us. All that jazz. And we'll see you next week. Fresh.
Stay sexy.
Way to be, pie.
Boop boop.
I don't know what pie means, but I know what a pie is. Bye-bye.